are live, which is awesome. And it means it's Tuesday, and I'm hanging out with one of my favorite people, Scott Shelar, who is the CEO and founder of now Construction Ready. Scott, how are you doing today?
I am doing well, Kayleen. It was so good to see you in person. When was that? Has it already been 2 weeks ago now? Time's flying, right? I think it's been almost about a week and a half, but you were here and love seeing you here for our Skills USA Georgia state competition. Thank you so much for coming out.
As always, it's one of my favorites. Scott, I had the blast. It was great to see the new, to us, the facility going to the World Center or the World Arena. What is it? The World
Georgia
Congress?
World Congress Center. Yeah,
Yes.
site of, yep.
Which someday on one of our lunch shows, I'm going to be showing off my new roller skate shoes because that facility is gigantic.
It's awesome. It's the fourth largest convention center in the country, right? So, and we just had one building. We had building C this year. What's interesting is, as you know, Skills USA Nationals is coming and they're going to have the whole complex, right? They're going to have building A, building B, and building C. So it's going to be a massive event. And I think it's the third week of June, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and I cannot wait to come back and hang out and obviously cheer on all my new friends and students from Georgia, because it was wonderful to see the competitions. Everybody was back in business. We were just talking about some great interviews and stories that had come out of it. One of my favorites is I met two young ladies who made their own bee boxes. And the name was Locks Bees Box, the bee's knees in bees boxes. I just thought it was fabulous. So it was great seeing multiple times expressed the side of the trades, but then we're also seeing students wanting to own their own businesses and thrive outside of it. And so it was great to see all of the students in person getting to show these skills off again.
It was. Yeah, I love the story of Camden Madison from Roswell. We learned about him. He was competing in the plumbing contest. He ended up placing third overall in the state, which is amazing. But the really cool thing is he has started his own business. He started his own pressure washing business. And I was talking to his mom at the event, and she said he's grossing over $2,000 every weekend with his pressure washing business at 17 years old. And so it's just such a great story. And these programs, these construction programs in our high schools, they give students that kind of confidence to be able to go out and start their own businesses. So it's really fun to hear those stories in person.
It is, because when we say that, and it's true, because that confidence comes from problem solving. You're the first time you build a box, it's probably not going to be square, and so there's confidence growing from that. And as you learn a trade, you're learning to problem solve and how to fail, all the things that you need to be a successful business owner, and kind of think on that. And so it's amazing. And it's great that he learned this in high school, but then I'm also excited about the opportunities in college to continue focusing and sharpening those skills.
Yes, definitely. Right. So you can keep on learning. As you know, it starts with our Little Builders program, which I understand you did 4 more of those this morning.
Yeah.
It goes up through, elementary, middle, of course, our high school programs, but you're right. It goes all the way into college. We have some great construction management programs here in Georgia. And I'm so happy about our guest today. Dr. Horsey is a longtime supporter of Construction Ready. Kayleen, you'll appreciate this. She has been very active in our Career Expo over the years. In fact, we'll have to ask her how long she's been involved. I know it goes back to her Gwinnett Technical College days, which it was a while ago, but I know she's been involved. She's always an enthusiastic supporter. She's always one of the first to reach out to find out, hey, when are you doing the Career Expo? Because she gets so excited. So I'm just happy that she was able to join us today to be part of the conversation.
Too, because it seems like, we're getting to, just been this wonderful, we're celebrating. It's nice to kick off the year with a lot of celebrations. And not only are we chatting with Dr. Horsey, who is so respected and knowledgeable, and I can't wait to learn all this great information, but it is International Women's Day during Women in Construction Week. And so it's like this fabulous trifecta, and I think we're going to have a wonderful chat today.
Definitely. And I'm going to save this update for our next chat, but I want to tell you all about where we are, where Sophie and I are with our attic build out. It is so fun to watch her, develop this passion for building. I mean, she's learning all sorts of cool things, and we're at about 80% complete on the project, but I'll save the rest of those details for our next chat, because I know you're eager to hear how that's going.
It is so much fun. I kid you not. Like, this to me is like the updates on this old house. I'm like, oh, okay, what happened next? Like, it's so exciting to see and hear the progress, especially since she's enjoying it too. I mean, who knows? She might be soon enrolling, or not soon, I'm still a few years off, but construction management at Kennesaw State wouldn't be too bad too. So, and now Scott too, you are hanging out for lunch. So our viewers, if they have any questions, they can tap them into the chat box and you're around to answer them.
Absolutely. I'm going to sit back and listen to what Dr. Horsey's been up to. It's been maybe a few years since I've seen her myself, because our expo has been shut down. But definitely, I'm going to sit back and listen, and then I'll jump back on toward the end.
Oh, fabulous, Scott! Thanks so much. Great to chat with you, and I'll see you in a bit.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks. I am really, really excited that Dr. Horsey is able to join us, and we'll give her a moment just to let the camera load. I personally am better with power tools over technology. And Dr. Horsey, thank you so much for joining us today, especially of all the fun days to celebrate International Women's Day during Women in Construction Week. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. And thank you so much, Kayleen, for having me today. I'm really happy to be here.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled because, you are so well respected in Georgia, but then also nationally. You have a lot of great things under your tool belt, or, pocket. You are the first African-American woman to earn a PhD in building construction from Georgia Tech, which is so cool. Actually, I did not even know that you could get a PhD in this. I mean, like, what? But I'm guessing that while you were the first African-American woman to graduate from the program, be probably also one of the first and the few women to have a doctorate in construction management. So tell me, what got you started in this? What piqued your interest?
Oh boy, let's see. I think I'd have to say basically two things. I've had an interest in construction since I was very little, and those two things would be Legos and linking logs. I was so much more interested in playing with those toys than I was playing with others. In fact, I always tease that I was more interested in actually building Barbie's dream house than actually playing with Barbie. So from the time I was very little, I remember even being in the third grade, and my third grade teacher gave us an assignment to pick a building in downtown Atlanta and do a report and a project on it. And of course, the majority of my classmates picked the Peachtree Plaza, and I think probably because of the simplicity of its cylindrical design. But for me, I picked the state capitol, and I designed my first model in like the third grade. And so from there, through high school, I took drafting, and undergraduate at Tuskegee University. I majored in architecture, and it was there that I interned with an architectural firm who put me in their construction management department. I got exposed to construction, and the rest is history.
I love this so much. And by the way, there are some Lego sets out there now for adults that are still so much fun to put together. The tree house is the best. I love it because that is how it starts. And I love hearing that you had kind of this fluid momentum to get into your career, which, sometimes it breaks up a little bit along the way, but having that passion stick with you was wonderful. And kind of tying it, because I think you and I are both similarly passionate. It's so much fun in this industry. And we know this, but, okay, piggybacking off on the fact that it's International Women's Day, what do you think needs to be done to bring more women into skilled trades?
I think more exposure and a better sell to women and girls about the trades. Creating an opportunity where young women, girls can be exposed to the trades and the career options, the vast career options that they can explore. More marketing efforts where we see women in the trades, in the field. Young girls can relate to that when they see people that look like them doing work that they may not have necessarily thought of, and given the opportunity to see that, I think is a great way to increase exposure and generate more awareness to the industry.
I second that. And I'd like to create a motion that we make content review. I agree completely. Because, they can do it, I can do it. It's so true. And I love the fact too that you not only say this, but then you back it up because you recently started a Kennesaw Women in Construction chapter. So what is the organization doing to encourage more students to be aware about, what are the opportunities that they have?
Well, first of all, I have to say that the Kennesaw Women in Construction are an amazing, phenomenal group of women. They're a diverse group from traditional to non-traditional students, and their whole goal and purpose. And the reason why I created it was for them to network and to encourage and support and generate awareness of women and girls in the construction industry. And in these photos, what you're seeing is just one example of some of the many activities and events that they host. This particular event was the Quick Kids Build Day, which they participated with the Greater Atlanta Girl Scouts and exposed them to career in construction education, and how they too can become builders. And that's just one example. Because it is Women's History Month, they are also putting on a panel at the end of the month for women in the industry. And there are a host of women who will be participating in that event, from a general contractor who owns her own company to a former superintendent. A wide range of ladies will be in the house for that event. So they're doing some phenomenal things on campus.
It really is phenomenal, because if I had a time machine, I would go back and wish that I could hear from someone like the guests you're bringing in. Just be like, by the way, and I'm up to what I'm supposed to, but it is the skies. I mean, you could do anything that you want, and really, oh my gosh. And I love this too, because you are blending a lot of different experience, because you've not always been in academia. So how does your previous work in construction management in the private and public sector now help you in the classroom?
It helps tremendously. I think it actually makes me a better professor, because I can really relate to my students and apply real world application and examples of things that we're actually studying in class. So when I talk about construction delivery methods and the types of contracts, for example, a GMP contract, I can say I worked on a project where we actually did this and where we saved our owner money. And we were able to give back. So being able to relate things like that to our students really, I think, get them excited about the industry, but also can see my passion and interest in it as well.
It's so true. And having those real world examples to bring it back, because kids are smart, they're going to see through if it's not.
Oh, yeah.
Teenagers can be scary, let's be honest. But I love it. And it's true, because when you can bring that real world experience in, I always think too, by the way, that one of the classes should be construction site sarcasm 101. Needs to be included in that management degree. Now, I already have a strong opinion on this and like things, but women have a unique offering when it comes to construction management. Talk to me a little bit about this.
Well, we are just absolutely born to work in this industry. And I say that because it's just how we are wired. We are natural project managers. We schedule, we budget, we estimate. It's just in our DNA.
Yeah, it's true. The communication is different, and that's why, again, are you breathing? We want you on the job site. Really awesome. And I love that you touched on all these different points, because it's critical for not only students, but even their parents to know that, look, you can own the company. You don't have to,
Absolutely.
if you want to stay a laborer, that's fine. Job sites are fun. Because, construction is often hard work, but often
Yeah.
there is a sense of pride, and not often, I'm going to say every time.
Absolutely.
Like I still drive by and I'm like, I built that. I built that. I built that. I worked on that.
Absolutely.
How do you teach that passion to students?
Well, first of all, that passion, it comes from me. It's how I am, and I'm excited about building, and so I can get my students excited about building as well. But it's not really a hard sell for the students here at KSU in our construction management program, because the students here want to build. They want to be future leaders in the construction industry. And so it's really easy for me to get excited and talk to them about my love of buildings and how buildings influence and help people, and for them to be just as easily excited.
It's true. It really is. And I think too, once you finish your first project and it's complete, there is that, I don't know, like, oh, look at you got to see behind the scenes, like how the magic trick was done.
Absolutely. You get to say, I built that, and being a part of something like that is just amazing.
It is. Tell me, how do you, not to like throw another question there, talk to me about the value of that community and kind of teamwork on a job site too. I think sometimes people think that it's like scary and there isn't a lot of like communication, and that's not the case. But
that is not the case. Effective communication is the only way you're going to actually get something built. There's so many people and so many moving parts on a construction project that the only way you get it done is with a team. I think you've never, and I tell my students that, particularly when we're working in group projects, there's no way that you're going to get something built like a skyscraper or a stadium with one person. It's going to take a team, and it's going to take a lot of people to get that done. And it's going to take effective oral and written communication to make sure it happens.
Yes. And that's where reading and writing and math are still all so critical. It's important. So, that's an important kind of skill to have, but what is the typical academic requirement to work in construction management?
Okay, so that's one of the beauties about our industry, because there's so many pathways that students can take, whether in career or in education. You can start from an apprenticeship program, like right out of high school, where you're basically learning a trade and learning, for example, with the Atlanta Electrical Contractors Association, learning how to be an electrician, and you're going to school learning this trade, and they're paying you for it. You could also pursue a 2-year degree at a technical college in Atlanta Metro. We have a number, and not just in Atlanta Metro, the technical college system of Georgia has a number of campuses and schools that have construction program. And then there's the 4-year college or university, like Kennesaw State University, where we have several options for our students to earn a bachelor's degree, a Bachelor of Science in Construction Management. They can earn a Master of Science in Construction Management as well. Students who pursue our degree are definitely ready to hit the ground running and get to work when they graduate. A lot of our students go and work for top general contractors or large subcontractors or specialty contractors. They're project managers, they're the project engineers. The sky's the limit to where our students go.
I love this so much because too, there's so much in this industry to learn. You're going to learn for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Yes. In fact, now I'm like, all right, as soon as I can figure out how to handle the humidity, I'm going to enroll in Kennesaw State. Because there's so many nuances and just wonderful bits and pieces to digest over the years. And so that level that students get to pick and choose kind of how they want to get into this and all the options. Wow. So let's say then I graduate from Kennesaw State with my bachelor's in construction management. What are some of the career opportunities? Like, what would I be looking for as like my first sort of jobs?
And that's one of the uniqueness or differentiators with a degree in construction management than some of the other related disciplines. When you get a degree in construction management, really the sky's the limit. I always tell my students, you could take two people from the construction industry and their backgrounds could be vastly different. You could graduate with a Bachelor of Science in Construction Management from Kennesaw State, and you could be a project manager, you could be a superintendent, you could be a scheduler, you could be a project engineer, you could be a facilities manager. I mean, the list is extensive. You get the basic skills you need here to be an effective leader and manager in construction, and you can take any path that you like.
I love it. Yes, it's so true. It is. And that's because I forget, like, I'm just such a nerd. If I don't make sawdust every few days, I'm sad. So, like, I'm one of the weirdos that I'm like, I gotta get on the job site and get that like energy out. But like with that, I love the fact students know you can manage, there's so much more to it. Just sitting around the hammer all day does, again, not build the house. Like, oh my gosh, the amount of like other engineers and architects, and again, the management side to this and keeping that, it's a skill and a gift.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I want to hire people with that degree. It's necessary. I love this. All right, so being similar construction nerds, talk about what are the projects that you've worked on that holds like a good place in your heart, piece of pride.
See, I would have to go with my very first project, and it was an elementary school. The name of the school is OC Elementary. It's actually in Alpharetta, and actually drove by there over the weekend. And I have to say that the reason why it's my favorite, not just because it was my first, but because it was an elementary school. I got to be a part of creating a structure that basically is the foundation of learning, and where students go to imagine and dream. And again, that's just the beauty of this industry, and being able to build places where people live their lives and grow and learn. And so that's why that's absolutely one of my favorites for sure.
I love this, and I cannot wait to come out and visit, because now I'm going to go and visit that school and be like, everybody who worked on this project.
Absolutely.
It's true. Everybody, I think, who works in this industry, we're artists. We get to create pieces of art that people live in, and that's powerful. And to be able to affect your community or the environment around you is a gift with working in construction. It's not just all the other awesomeness to this. Oh my goodness, what a great full circle. Dr. Horsey, this has been incredible. And I really appreciate you taking the time to share, all of this information. It's great. Real quick, we did bring up a website earlier, but if our folks are interested in finding out more information from Kennesaw State University, what is the website that they can go to? Absolutely.
Well, if they're interested in construction management, that would be cacm.kennesaw.edu. We'd love to have our viewers visit and learn more about a degree in construction management at Kennesaw.
Oh, that's excellent. And I hope that our fans do check that out. No, and actually we'll bring Scott back in too, because I cannot wait to get his thoughts on today's chat, because again, yay, it's Women in Construction Week. And are there any celebratory things that you're doing with your chapter at Kennesaw?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, with this month we're celebrating, and so we're having an event at the end of the month where again, that I mentioned, we'll be bringing in panelists to speak to the women on campus about the various fields in construction. And then also this week happens to be spring break, so there's really nobody on campus right now.
All right, that's all right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us during spring break. And Scott, welcome back. What did you think about today's lunch?
Well, I first want to say, Dr. Horsey, thank you so much for all you've done for SEFCA and Construction Ready over the years. I was telling Kayleen earlier that you got involved in our expo very early on, and you've been involved for many years, and you're one of our most enthusiastic supporters. You always are one of the first people to ask, what's the date of the next event? And so we just thank you for that. And I was wondering, it's been probably 10 years, right, since you've been involved, back to your Gwinnett Tech days, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so we just appreciate that, and I wanted to lift that up. But I was curious about one thing. Kennesaw State, the construction management program has a great reputation, in the construction industry. I know so many companies, really want to hire your graduates, but I'm curious to know a little bit about the demographics of your students and graduates. Do you tend to see a lot of students coming straight out of high school and going to Kennesaw State, or is it more of the non-traditional student that maybe is changing careers and, wants to do something different? And then maybe a little bit about sort of the male-female breakdown of students at Kennesaw State. I was just curious as we were talking about that.
Oh, yeah. We definitely have a very diverse demographic here in our program. We have traditional students and non-traditional students. In the past, the majority of our students were non-traditional, but now we're seeing a trend where that is starting to slowly change. So we have both. I would say we have about 60% non-traditional students at this point and about 40 traditional students. And if we get into the different makeup of those students, we have nearly 750 students in our program. Of the 750 students, about 115 are women. And if you cut that number in half, the majority of students, well, not majority, almost 50% of our students are white, and the other 50 are from underrepresented populations. So we are definitely doing a great job here with having more diversity within our program.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I know that probably wasn't a question on the question list, but thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. And thank you for your leadership in our industry. We're so blessed to have you here in our state as a champion for the construction industry. You've always been super passionate about it, and you're just such a good spokesperson. So I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Scott, for having me. And I love everything that you guys are doing, and I love being a part of it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, this is fantastic. Well, thanks for sharing this. And Scott, thank you for sticking around. Again, if any of our viewers have questions, they can go to the Kennesaw State University website and check out that information, as well as constructionready.org, their new website, as signified by my new fancy hat. And so this really has been a pleasure, and I'm excited to hear the numbers, and I cannot wait that the next time we chat in the next few years, I'd like to see 50% women involved in that program.
We're working on it.
You are a wonderful champion, and I would love to be one of your students, because oh my gosh, the things I would learn. Like you've been in the industry long enough to really share that knowledge and passion. So thank you for doing so, and I hope you both have a terrific rest of your afternoon.
Thank you, Kayleen. You have a great day too. Thank you.
Thanks, my friends.